I used to be a huge Harry Potter fan. Huge. I wrote a whole show once devoted to illustrating how certain character names within the Potterverse and their lore originated in astronomy. I've always said that the movies and the books helped me through a divorce by giving me something to look forward to on a nightly basis. I have indeed devoted too much time in the Harry Potter world as a man approaching middle age. But all that changed recently when I slowly started to realize that the wizards in the world of the Harry Potter universe are actually just a bunch of self-serving assholes. When you think about it, the Potterverse is supposed to exist in our world, the real world, where all our current problems still exist. In the books, Harry Potter escapes off to Hogwarts to learn about how to be a wizard. While back home, everyone else still has to deal with climate change, rumblings in politics, terrorism, and the further decline of pop music. Harry drops out of public school at the age of 11 to go off to another school that has nothing to do with actual schooling. At Hogwarts, there's no mention of algebra, physical education, science, spelling, or grammar. It's all about how to make your life easy by the wave of a wand. Now, with all this discussion in the news today about nationalism and immigration, protecting borders, building walls, keeping people out, shutting people in, etc., etc., there's no better example of people that support an insular lifestyle and philosophy than the wizards in the Potterverse. Now in the books, in the Potter books, you've got a group of people with magical abilities that think they are so special, they have to call anyone that doesn't have magical powers muggles. This phrase is often used freely in their society and can also be used in the pejorative with just a minor adjustment in tone. You know, there's a difference in how one would say, my mom would really like me to marry a muggle, as opposed to, I can't believe Brian married a muggle. No one brings up that wizards walk around talking down to people who are still in the overwhelming majority. I've got news for you, Dick. You're the weirdo. You're the one born with some weird defect that lets you thwart the laws of physics. The rest of us had to invent electricity, rocket fuel, a place to use sine, cosine, and tangent. Yeah, so these wizards obviously didn't want to exist in a society with these filthy muggles, so they walled off a place for themselves and created their own society. Kind of like a magical version of Wakanda, but with an economic system based on capitalism, not being lucky enough to have a meteorite land in your backyard that's filled with some precious minerals that you can extort. The wizards in Potterverse not only bar the outside world from coming into their domain, but they also hold exclusive rights over property owned either privately or publicly. When the Quidditch World Cup went down, they decided to have it held in the country where anyone could normally walk into and enjoy. So to keep these pesky muggles out, they drew magical enchantments all over the place that would make the muggle think they forgot something, so they'd turn around. This anti-inclusive nature of the wizards is often justified by them when they say something, and I'm just paraphrasing here, if the rest of the world knew that there were wizards, they would constantly be annoying us to solve their problems. Constantly annoying them to solve our problems. I'm sure they're thinking about car troubles and maybe a shoddy TV set. Not really. Here's a list of some of the world's most pressing problems that the wizards within Potterverse damn well know exist but do nothing to help out. Lack of clean water in underdeveloped countries. Make no mistake about it, there are areas on Earth where people simply don't have clean, drinkable water. Wouldn't it be nice if we could just wave a wand and make all that go away? Well, they can. It's a charm. It's called aguamenti. This water-making spell conjures clean, drinkable water from the end of the wand. Fleur de la Cour used this during the Triwizard Tournament, and of course Harry Potter used this when trying to fill that crystal goblet in the crystal cave with Dumbledore. So yeah, it wouldn't take much for a couple of volunteer wizards to station themselves in a dirty village somewhere and fill up a water tower once every 6 months. I mean, would it kill you to do that? But no, let people drink dirty ditch water and contract dysentery because plebeians Pennyweather, wizard of the First Order, has to darn his pantaloons that week. Wizards are assholes. Lack of food. People are living longer and the population is steadily growing. We as a people must address this growing concern. On top of that, there are still areas of the world which suffer from lack of access to food. If only there was a way that someone could take a small batch of food and enlarge it for a larger group of people. Oh wait, there is. It's called the engorgement charm, of course. Now this charm is said to be safe to use on animals and vegetation, but there is a point where the engorgement will make the subject explode if made too big. Hagrid has been known to use this engorgement charm on pumpkins, and the fake Moody used it to enlarge a few spiders. So yeah, you could take a meager food supply and enlarge it to feed a huge chunk of people. Problem solved. And it could probably be done by the same wizard filling up those water tanks in the neighboring village. Government corruption and accountability. Those damn politicians are always up to something, aren't they? They're either blaming the Russians, covering up their paper trail of collusion, or covering up for the interns that they have killed. There should be an agreement when you become a public servant that you are subject to veritaserum when and if you are ever accused of something untoward. Ah, yes. Veritaserum. This powerful truth serum effectively forces the drinker to answer any questions put to them truthfully. Though it is like a polygraph test, it wouldn't be admissible in court. However, this serum is far more reliable than a polygraph test and could be used as strong circumstantial evidence. It could even be used for the following, like terrorism. Terrorism can be solved with divination and veritaserum. Gone will be the days of torture to gain information for the old ticking time scenario. If a known terrorist is ever captured and we need information on the whereabouts of his accomplices and or the location of a future target, then veritaserum would be a far better technique to get this information. Even though divination would be an unreliable technique, it is far better than having nothing at all. Homelessness. 2 words, charmed tents. Now, do you remember when the gang went to see the Quidditch World Cup on that publicly owned land that was being illegally used? Well, everyone was staying in charmed tents. These tents look like normal tents, but whenever you go inside, they have a huge layout. There's a kitchen, there's a dining room table, there's places to sleep, there's plenty of room. There's plenty of room for your gutter punk dog trash heap to run around. Not a lot is known about charmed tents. In fact, when the gang went to the World Cup, they were actually staying in someone else's tent that Mr. Weasley had borrowed. So it could be argued that the tents have to be furnished for real by the tent's owner. Be that as it may, the tents are still pretty roomy. Even if there's nothing in them, magical tents that would keep hobos out of the cold would be a welcome addition to the world. Oh well. Too bad wizards are assholes. Natural disasters. I believe many of the disasters that nature throws our way could be thwarted or alleviated with the help of magical powers of arcane origins. Is there flooding? Just gather a bunch of wizards around to lift that lake up and put it back where it belongs. Was there a tornado and you lost all your stuff? Well, get a wizard that knows that trick that Dumbledore and Slughorn did whenever they had to put that disheveled house back together. Just do it on a grander scale. Don't tell me you can't do that to an entire city. Even if there's wildfires, the Aqua Eructo is a charm used to expel a jet of water used to extinguish fires. Let me just rattle off a list of other things wizards could easily make better for the world outside their little isolation bubble. How about global health concerns? These could be solved with the mass manufacturing of potions like Skelegro, which regrows bones. Remedies that cure the common cold. When's the last time you read about or saw a character in the Harry Potter universe that had the sniffles? Crime. It's hard to say how wizards would solve crime, but one thing is for sure, wizards can definitely make the prison population smaller. So they can easily transform all inmates into rats, and then these smaller incarcerated creatures could be stored in a much smaller area. They would eat less food, and they would also learn a valuable lesson while paying their debt to society. Yeah. Got somebody on a bridge about to jump off? Arresto momentum. Did a baby fall down a well? Ascendio. Does someone need to be put to death in a humane yet uniquely vengeful way? Avada Kedavra. Done. Now I hope you read the books or watch the movies and think about all this. Think about this the next time you see Luna Lovegood fix Harry's broken nose with the wave of her wand. The next time Hermione opens a locked door with a simple spell. Or the next time food magically appears on the dining hall tables. Think about how all this cool magic that can easily be performed by preteens could be applied on a global scale. And try not to think about just how much wizards are assholes.